First of all, I would like to thank you all for attending John's birthday party tonight. I know for many of you has been a very long trip, and both John and I really appreciate that you are with us here tonight. So when we had John's 60th birthday 10 years ago, I was asked to give a speech, and then I very kindly and politely said no, and then I let Mena do the job. But when Maren asked me this time to say something about John, I thought, gee, if I say no again, it will sound very suspicious. So here I am. I have, though, the following problem. I'm not embarrassed to admit in front of you that I do love John very, very much. Even more now, after almost 25 years of marriage. Can you believe this? So what can or could a loving wife say about her husband that would not be biased? So instead of telling you anecdotal stories, trying to convince you how a great husband, a great family man John has been over many years, I chose to show you some data. After all, I'm a scientist and I always prefer to show data rather than anecdotal reports. So here we are. Here is John's autobiography. So, as you know, John was born to Greek parents in Queens, New York. Here is baby John with his mother and his father. He was a happy baby, as you can see here. Look at his eyes, the smile on his face.
Would look like a baby.
Except when he was behind the bars, because he always had a very high spirit of independence. Look at his disappointment here. He looks so unhappy. It turns out, very early in life, he had the gene of the researcher expressed. So he started very early exploring the wonders of human anatomy. And then, of course, as you can imagine, many years later, the wonders of human physiology. So here is John as a toddler in Queens in the backyard. Here with his mother in Queens still. And as you know, John loves convertible cars. And as you can see, he started driving a convertible car at the age of 2. Here is the evidence, data. We're talking about data here. And actually, in the left panel is still John. Curly hair, and the boy next to it with a big smile, a happy young boy, and here a very nice picture with his mother and with his sister. His mother actually must have been an amazing woman, very intelligent, who unfortunately died very young at the age of 48 due to cancer. Here with his sister sitting on a tree branch. A very nice family picture. Here with his mother, his father, and his sister in front of the Christmas tree in their apartment house in Athens. Actually, John, as I said earlier, he was born in Queens, where he lived until the age of 6, and then they moved to Athens. A nice-looking boy. A little bit older here in Athens. They had already moved in Greece. With his mother and his sister on the veranda of their apartment house in Athens. He even was in a costume, and as you can imagine, he could only be a knight protecting his sister here. With his father on the right and some friends in Greece, following religiously the tradition of the 50s and 60s in Greece, when every single man should have wear a hat. So John is also wearing a hat here. Two lovely pictures with his sister on a boat. As you most probably all know, John loves everything related to sea and boats.
And leather jacket too.
Yes, exactly, exactly. A little bit older here, a teenager sitting at his father's desk, doing some homework, or even could be pretending doing some homework. Here, sitting next to his father, probably keeping some notes for him at the UN United Nations conference. And actually, I should mention here that his father was a very well-known writer in Greece, and many of his books were made into movies and theatrical plays in Greece in the 70s and 80s and 60s, very popular in Greece. I don't know, sweetly, what epigenetic changes happened there in this writer of yours, and when. Sorry about that. He went to the American school in Athens. Here is his graduation day with his father and some friends and his sister. And after that, he moved to US, went to Berkeley, as most probably you all know. And soon after he graduated from Berkeley, he got the position at MIT. And here's John, a very junior assistant professor at MIT. And I guess that was the time when something happened. And at that time, probably John said, gee, now I have gotten my dream job. I have worked so hard during my entire life. So it's time, now that I'm assistant professor, to have some fun. And he started having fun at beaches, here with his father in Greek islands, vacationing. He started traveling, here again, having nice time, even biking during summertime. Look at this picture. I mean, lying under the sun, sleeping very nicely as nothing was happening in the world around him. But at some point, somebody must have whispered into his ears the following: listen, buddy, if you don't work your ... off, you are not going to get tenure. There's no way you will get tenure at MIT ever. So John listened to this voice, came back here with a little bit sad, face, sitting in his office with tons of books in front of him, being a very serious professor. He took his job very seriously for many, many years. He worked very hard with his students, as you all know, and was always serious, except when he was with our dearest friend, Nihat. And you know what I'm talking about, because being serious while being with Nihat would be a total paradox. So, and then years went by, and two of our daughters married, and they had kids, and a new era started for John, the era of Grandpa. And I do have some nice pictures here. Paul, Lena's husband, with newborn Luke. John with Paul again, Sophie and Luke. You must have seen the kids earlier. John with Sophie. John having fun with the kids in our backyard. And this is yesterday. They have grown older now. This is with the kids yesterday at our lunch time. Another nice picture. But despite the fact that they are older now, John still treats them as royal babies, as you can see here. But I'll let Lena tell more about the new era, John as Grandpa. Thank you.
Avner? noticed the leather jacket and the Ray-Bans are still there, George. That's amazing. Yosemite, man. Gotta drop it. Okay, thank you, Mummy. Hi, everybody.